Sandra, welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my asexual life journey in order to help in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button down below. Right here, right now, please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're finding the content useful, helpful, insightful, enjoyable, even enjoyable, entertaining, or you just want to give this channel some love. Any thumbs up is greatly appreciated. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this beautiful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Open Sex, A Celebration, Asexual Diversity. I'm also the founder of asexualise.com, the founder of Asexualised Academy. Welcome to tonight's episode. What to do if they lie to you and what not to do. So basically, if they lie to you, do not beat yourself up about it, but instead do this. So what am I talking about? Well, you may have remembered that in the nightclub I went to over a week ago now, I met a Bangladeshi guy, and I did get on well with them. I had fun with them, and they wanted to see me again. They kept messaging me about meeting up for a day, basically meeting up again to spend time together and have kisses, blah, blah, blah. And to cut a very long story short, last night you might have noticed I was off this channel. I was off the stream because I was at my parents', like I told you, it'd be for Christmas because it's still Boxing Day yesterday. And I didn't have, hi Sam, nice to see you. And I didn't have time to do a video last night at all. By the time I went to sleep, it was nearly midnight, and I didn't actually go to sleep because I ended up video chatting with the Bangladesh guy because he kept asking me when to meet him, and I said I preferred to get to know him on video chat first. So we video chatted for about an hour, it seems, according to my phone. Unfortunately, thanks for the thumbs up. Unfortunately, he wasn't being honest with me, for example, about his age. But there's also some other stuff which I won't go into on this channel because I don't think it's right. But let's just say there's some dodgy stuff going on, to say the least. And it was for my own safety, health, and well-being that I am no longer in contact with the guy. I decided to block him from my phone and from me on Facebook. So I just want to let you know that not to beat yourself up. Hi, Andy. It's nice to see you. I just thought to say, I wanted to do this video to say it's really important not to beat yourself up if you get someone who lies to you, especially if you've had that in the past. So in my past, I've had guys that have lied to me. They have been involved in some dodgy stuff. And it's really easy to beat yourself up about it and go, oh, what, like you can get into the frame of mind, like, why did I have to pick this type of guy again? Or why did this type of guy be attracted to me again? Or why did I attract this type of guy? Do you know what I mean? And you can kind of like blame yourself for their bad behavior. And I haven't done that this time, and it's really important you don't do that either, because it's not your fault that this person has lied to you. I'm sure you've been at some point in your life in a situation where a person has actually lied to you, and it's not your fault they've lied to you. It's their own problem. It's the fact they can't be their genuine, true, authentic self. They are living a lie, and they are living a life that isn't actual reality. Do you know what I mean? They're just making things up as they go along, and they just blatantly lie. I mean, there was proof later on that he was lying about his age. He actually gave me the proof, which was to say he was lying in the first place about his age. He actually gave me the proof, so it's not like I'm making this stuff up. Because I said I want to see proof of his age, because there were so many different versions of different things he was saying, not just to do with his age, that I said I want proof of your actual age. And so I found that they were a lot older than not just they looked, but they said they were significantly older. So, I mean, to be honest, that as I was aesthetically attracted to them, that wouldn't have mattered. But the fact they were lying about it did. And that's the thing. If you get anyone who starts lying to you about anything, you can't trust them. from the moment they start lying to you, you just can't trust them. You know, like I found out on video chat they do love sex. I said, you know, like, because they didn't know I'd had sex. They assumed I hadn't had it, you see, because I said I don't like sex. And then when I was talking to them, I told them the truth that I'd had it. And of course, then they get relaxed and then they tell you the truth, because if they're a sexual person that's lying to you and telling you what you want to hear, which is what a lot of them do, sadly. You know, they are literally just doing that, telling you what they think you want to hear. So by the fact I said, yes, I have had sex in the past, they're like, you have or you haven't? I said, yeah, I've had it in the past. I was casual, relaxed, calm about it. They're like, oh yeah, well, I love sex too, you know, well, I don't know if they use the word too, but he goes, well, I love sex, yeah, but I prefer kissing like with the tongue. And they said that they hadn't for a year had sex or kissed anyone since they'd been in their country. So they really liked the way I kissed them and everything like that. I don't doubt they liked my kissing for 1 minute. I think that was one of the few things they were telling the truth on. I don't doubt that for 1 minute. I really don't, because I'm good at kissing. But yeah, they weren't telling the truth about a lot of stuff, unfortunately. And there was other things that were dodgy going on. So I have cut off from them completely now and told them never to message me again. I don't want to hear from them, right? But you have to be you have to be careful that you don't start putting the onus on you, because you might think, well, why did I get a liar? Why did I encourage a liar? Why was I with a liar? Well, I wasn't actually with them, but I spent time with them, you know, that night with them. And obviously I was spending time on video chat and then messaging them. You know, I did put some energy into them. So you just have to remember not to beat yourself up, because, you know, a lot of people, unfortunately, are not living their true, authentic lives, you know, and you have to really feel sorry for these type of people. That's the best thing to do, is to just think, I'm better off out of it. Get to your own safety, block these people out of your life. Your safety and your health and welfare and well-being is the most important thing. Once a liar, always a liar, usually. There are some people who can redeem themselves, but when, you know, it's usually years later, not at that precise time when they've started lying to you, right? And they just weren't telling me the truth about other things, and they were hiding stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? And so this is not a good person to be around and to be in a potential relationship with, or even date, right? I was filled with dread meeting this person, even though part of me was quite excited and interested in meeting them at the same time. So I was going to meet them on Monday, right? We'd arranged to go to meet Nando's at 1 o'clock. We'd arranged, we're then going to go to the cinema, and then he was going to take me out for some more food. He was going to pay, and we are going to have a lot of fun together. But my whole being was filled with dread. And I want you to do this. If you suspect someone's lying to you, you should trust your intuition. I had intuition from a very long time ago that there's something dodgy about this guy, something not quite right. And that's because his stories didn't add up, because he's inconsistent. So when a person tells you one thing, then they tell you, for example, I mean, I'm not going to go into every single detail because I don't think it's fair, but for example, he said he was on holiday in my city. Then he changed it to I'm working here. Then he changed it to I go back to London and visit 3 or 4 times a week. Then he changed it to I used to live in Exmouth for a while before coming to Exeter. Do you know what I mean? And it's all like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you say you're on holiday here, then you say you work here? And then I found out later, last night in video chat, where he worked, he actually showed me behind the scenes, because he lives near where he works, basically. And so it was like, you know, so when there's people who are being inconsistent, sadly, we want to think the best of them, you know. I wanted to be wrong about this guy, you know, but I knew from just the inconsistencies that he's not telling me the truth. And most people, if you say to a sexual guy, if they're a genuine, honest person, they will admit they're sexual. They won't pretend to be asexual. They won't pretend they don't like sex, right? There was a guy on Facebook last night who saw me in the UK singles dating group, which is not an asexual group, for example. And he started talking to me, and I said about I don't like sex, and he goes, oh, me neither. I like talking about it, if you know what I mean, but I don't like doing it, which I just thought was bollocks. Excuse my language. And so I'm like, well, no, I don't like sexting, because I gathered that's what he meant. He meant he likes talking about sex as in sexting, as in writing sex stuff. And I just said, no, I don't like sexting or anything like that. He goes, well, I appreciate your point of view, and I wish you luck, because he wished me luck moving on, which is good. And he said, oh, but I'd like to know a little bit more about asexuality. So I told him, and he said, I'll look it up. He said, because I'm still interested in knowing other people's point of view, but clearly I'll never be asexual. I'll clearly always be a sexual guy. You know, that's an honest guy. You know, he's not pretending to be asexual. He's taken an interest in asexuality because he's never heard of it before. That's a genuine guy, someone who does that. Do you see what I mean? And so there's a big difference, you know. When I don't drink alcohol, but I'm being asked by the guy twice for a drink at the bar, and then he's saying he doesn't like alcohol, it's obviously a load of rubbish, because he wouldn't bother asking me if I wanted to drink, would he? It just doesn't make sense. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know, don't beat yourself up, because in the past I used to, you know, think, oh, why do I attract this type of guy? Why? But you're going to attract both bad guys and good guys into your life, because there's always going to be bad and good around. Do you know what I mean? You have to understand there's always going to be bad guys, good guys, and any gender, you know, good girls, bad girls, you know. I'm not saying specifically just guys, even though I use guys as an example, because I'm only interested in guys in a relationship terms, right? But there's always going to be people in this world that's good and bad. There's always going to be people that tell you the truth and people that don't, you know, and you don't know these people until you start talking to them. You don't know what they're like until you get to know them a bit. And you know, I gave this person the benefit of the doubt. My doubt was right, and I want you to trust your instincts more as well, because if I listen to my instincts, which I was listening to, but not exactly totally listening to, because even though I was listening to it, I wasn't actually paying so much attention to it, as in fully listening to it, as in complying with it. You know, because a part of me wants to be wrong. A part of me, big part of me, thinks I want to be wrong about this guy. I want him to prove me wrong with my intuition and instincts. But in a way, I could then asking myself, well, why do I want to even be wrong with my intuition and instincts? Because if I'm wrong about my intuition and instincts, then that would destabilize me and mean I couldn't trust myself. When in actual fact, I can trust myself much more than I can trust them. And so in a way, I don't even know why I'm thinking that, you know. I guess I'd like to see the best in people, but that's the trouble sometimes, you know. Sometimes we just have to recognize that, you know, there's some people that are good in this world, some people that are bad, some people that are in between, and that we have to move on, and we should beat ourselves up about it. But what we should think is, you know, we feel sorry for them, you know. Do this, feel sorry for them, think, my God, you know, these people, they're not living their true authentic life, right? They can never be truly totally loved for who they are, because they aren't showing who they truly are. They're not showing the world who they truly are. They're not showing the person they want right in front of them who they truly are. Unless these people are actually being true to who they are and not lying to anyone, then, and especially not to you, they can't be loved for who they are. And that's a very sad thing. I feel really deeply sorry for this guy. You know, I'm thinking, you will never, ever, because he's a lot older than he said he was. He's 30. He goes, oh, I'm an old man, I'm 36, when he told me he was 28. His Facebook said he was 25. See all these discrepancies. And he definitely said, I've got it in writing by a message, it said it was 28. Because I guessed he was 28, and you know, so I was right, and then he wrote it down. Yeah, you know, I'm 28, but it wasn't 36, because he sent me proof of it. He goes, oh, I'm an old man, you see, and that's his perception of himself. 36, old man. It's like most people live to be nearly 100, if not 100 these days. 36 is not an old man. It's not even middle age, for goodness sake. Middle age is like 50 these days. So anyway, that's his perception of himself. But if he has that perception, I'm just thinking, well, you're gonna die an old man then, are you, being a liar still? You know, I really, really hope, my wish for this guy is that somehow a miracle happens and he completely changes his life around, becomes a very, very honest citizen and person, and actually stops lying completely and gets a better life for him and a good woman. I really hope that happens for him. I can't see it happening for a very long time if it ever happens, because once a person lies and carries on lying, that's it. Do you know what I mean? They just get into a habit and it perpetuates. And there are people that change, but I don't think he has any intention of changing. I don't think he even thinks there's anything wrong with it. And so, you know, you've got to feel sad for these people. They will never be loved for their true authentic self, because they are not showing their true authentic self. You can't get to their true authentic self completely because they're not showing that to you, because they're hiding behind these lies, these deceit, this double life, these dodgy stuff. Do you know what I mean? and it's not your fault. It's no point beating yourself up about it. It's just to think, what can I learn from this experience? Is there anything I can learn at all? Well, from my point of view, I can learn that when I did kiss him, I didn't know he's 36. He looked younger, much younger than that. So I can say to myself now, well, some guys that are older than I would usually go for, in their 30s, I could possibly be in a relationship with if I was aesthetically attracted to them and they looked a lot younger than they actually was. So that's something I learned. I mean, I have been with a couple of guys who one guy I dated one guy, didn't I, for a night. Had one day for a 37-year-old, if you remember that. This guy's new, 37, actually. He's 37 on the 1st of January. And so, so I could learn that. I could learn that my instincts are always right 100%. So you just got to trust them, Sandra. My instincts are never wrong about these people. Do you know what I mean? I want to be wrong. And I guess other people, or even myself, I guess I question myself because other people have always questioned me in the past. Like, can you be wrong? I guess I've been brought up to question things from an objective point of view. Like, could you ever be wrong? Do you know what I mean? And when you're constantly in that environment of being objective, it's all very good and well, but then you never totally trust yourself, I don't think. Because you're always saying, oh, well, what about the other side of the story? What about this? What about that? But in actual fact, I was right about this person not to trust them. My whole body was like telling me not to trust them because it was in a state of high anxiety levels. And anxiety is not always a bad thing. That's another thing you have to remember to do is to not punish yourself for having some anxiety. You should always have some anxiety. Anxiety is designed to protect you. That's why it's there. It has its function. You're meant to have some anxiety. You shouldn't be ever freeing yourself completely of all anxiety. That's ridiculous. You have to have some anxiety because some situations will be bad from you. It's your anxiety that will make you see those situations are bad for you. It's the apprehension and the anxiety that will make you react in certain ways for your own good. I've had anxiety helping me out, right? I mean, I've had it where I felt, hi, Andy. Lots of love, how that. I've had a situation where I fell head first down 11 stone steps. I don't know if I've ever told you that. And it was a bad accident, but because of my anxiety, I was able to act very quickly. And I was able to kind of like weird think whilst that was happening that I have to relax my body because it's going to hurt a heck of a lot more if I don't do that. So while I was flying through the air, it's kind of like one of those weird movies where, do you know what I mean? That you're kind of like doing the slow motion within the fast action. So my brain was actually thinking, you've got to relax for this. If you don't relax, it'll hurt a lot more. So I was just like literally trying to relax my body as much as possible while flying through the air down some stairs and crush my chest and everything. Hi, Ray. Nice to see you. Lovely to see you. So that's when anxiety can help you. So I'm here to tell you that you shouldn't want to get rid of all your anxiety. Do you know what I mean? Anxiety holds its place in life. It's when it becomes an obsessive type of anxiety, or when it completely takes over your body, that it can be bad, right? But in certain circumstances with certain people, you can get anxiety in your body because it can go into what we call fight or flight mode. Now, I'm used to, sadly in the past, I was in abusive relationships. And when you're in abusive relationships, your body naturally goes into fight or flight response. Well, it can be fight, flight, or flee. So you either want to fight the person back, you either want to freeze and do nothing, be completely static, or you want to flee the scene. Fight, flight, or flee. That's what your body's naturally designed to do. It's designed to have survival instincts, right? And in certain situations, abusive situations, it's important to be able to use that anxiety to your advantage. So with this particular person, part of me was looking forward to having a date with him, and the other part of me was completely filled with dread throughout all my body because I thought there was something dodgy about him. He was using all different contradictions. He was changing what he's saying. He was clearly a sexual person, despite saying he wasn't. And so, I don't wish the guy any harm, despite all this. I wish him really well in his life. I have no hatred towards him at all. Do you know what I mean? I don't hate him. I hope one day he can be his true authentic self, you know? But he is not living his true authentic life, and you have to pity people like that instead of beating yourself up. Don't beat yourself up, just feel sorry for that person that they've lost you. That's why sometimes I think I feel too sorry for the other person. It's like, hang on a minute, Sandra, your safety is the most important thing. You've got to have a situation that could potentially be very harmful to you, you know? But at the end of the day, I just think, you know, I feel sorry for him. I almost feel upset for him that he's never going to have that opportunity to be loved fully for who he is unless he changes and actually becomes an honest person. It's just impossible. You can't be loved fully for who you are if you're not showing who you are to the actual world, if you're not being your true authentic self. Do you see what I'm saying? This is another reason why you shouldn't be lying or change like a chameleon to your surroundings, because you'll never be truly loved for who you are. You know, we all want love at the end of the day. Everyone wants to feel special, whatever type of scenario they're in. They all want human contact. I mean, he hadn't had, by the sound of it, that much female contact with him for a year, he reckons. But I mean, I think in the clubs, from what I understand, from what I was talking about, I mean, he must approach other women in clubs, but I reckon they push him away because he's going, oh, they're not like you, and they're like a lot of the people over here, they're like, oh, get away type thing. But you're a really good person, really nice person. So I'm guessing that other women have told him to get lost, and quite rightly so, really. But you know, you have to just pity these people that they will never ever experience true love. And I just honestly, sometimes I get really upset for them. I'm thinking, I'm so upset for you because I know I'm a really good person. I know I have a lot of love to give, and the right guy will get that love. But that person's obviously not the right guy for me. They don't deserve that full on love because they haven't earned it. But you know, it's sad for them, isn't it? Like, are they just like, if they really believe they're an old man at 36, like, surely they'd want to actually be honest and settle down with a woman. Do you know what I mean? A girl, and actually, you know, have a good life if they really think they're that old. Do you know what I mean? 36. That's up to them. They thought I was 25, 26. That's what they said. I looked 25, 26 when they met me. Um, so do you know what I mean? And they said in my face, but you know what I'm saying? You've just got to pity these people and feel sorry for them, as well as being relieved that you've looked after yourself. But always trust your own instinctive judgment. I mean, I do watch other dating coaches, and the good ones, they do say trust your own instincts. Because if you feel that something's off, it usually always is, because you're the only one that can tell that, because you're in the actual situation. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's good to get opinions of friends and family, but at the end of the day, they're not actually in their situation, are they? You are. And I knew there was something dodgy about this person because of the contradictions they were giving. They were chopping and changing their story all the time, and someone who's doing that is got stuff to hide. Do you know what I mean? But when you blatantly find out they're lying, they tell you like they're one age, and then eventually prove they're a completely different one. They prove their own lie. Then you know it's kind of like, yeah, bye bye. There's, you know, like, I wouldn't have minded if he'd have been an honest guy, him telling me that he was older than I thought he was. He was 36. I wouldn't have minded that because I was aesthetically attracted to him, despite the fact he's not in his 20s like I usually but that didn't matter. It wasn't about that in the end. It was about the fact that he couldn't even tell the truth on stuff, you know? And yes, I've had a lucky escape. Yes, it's very good that I'm not in contact with him anymore, you know? He didn't listen to me very much a lot of the time. And, you know, I could have had fun maybe on the date with him, but, you know, you never know. Like, if you've got a sense of danger, if you've got an overwhelming feeling of anxiety, you don't have to pursue that anxiety. You don't have to break through it if it's something that's protecting you for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have fears, and you got to say, is this anxiety for a good reason or is this anxiety for a bad reason? But like I said, anxiety does protect you. It's designed to be a survival instinct. It's designed from years ago, caveman era, to actually protect you. You know, like, I've been in other situations in my past that have been very, very life or death situations. And if I hadn't had my anxiety to train me in how to act correctly along with my brain, then I might not even be here today. Do you see what I'm saying? Uh Fakat. Oh, Hassan Fakas. Hi, Hassan. Nice to see you. And oh, you've got cake karate now. Hi, nice to see you. I like your new name. Hassan. Hi, Hassan. Nice to see you. So yeah, you have to feel sorry for these people. I don't have any hatred towards this guy. I just think, I hope that he got to experience just a little. I mean, I didn't obviously love him because I wasn't in a relationship with him. I hadn't known him very long, but I gave him like loving feelings, I'm guessing. And, if I gave him that little bit of happiness in his life that he probably won't get very often if he carries on lying like he is, then, great, I could do that for him. But, in terms of like when you are in a situation where a person's lying to you, the best thing you can do for yourself possibly is just get the heck out of there. Don't worry and wait and faff around, and you don't even have to keep proving your own instincts to be right. If you don't think someone's right for you, it doesn't matter how good looking they are, how much money they might have, or how much like accommodation they might have. I mean, a lot of them, they're going to use stuff like, I've got this money or I've got that. I mean, he did say to me even last night on the video chat, oh, we're friends now. If you want anything, just call me anytime. I'll do whatever I can to help you and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, you don't even know me, and why are you even saying this? Do you know what I mean? Been in these situations before. Yeah, it's important. Like, I knew that there was something wrong about this guy. I knew it. My whole body was dreading seeing him, to the point where it was really bad state, the worst state it's ever been. So I knew there was something going on with him. And it was more than just oh, Ray, you can't have a relationship without honesty. Yeah, I totally agree. And so, from the moment I met him, obviously he was saying he didn't like sex and stuff, which is just rubbish. Sexual guys do like sex. Do you know what I mean? It's very unlikely that you're going to meet someone in a club that really doesn't like sex. I'd rather meet a guy who was a heterosexual who said, yeah, I do like sex, but I can live without it if I want to. That type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Most of them can't anyway. But it's just a shame. It's a shame for him, really. More than a shame for me, because I'm glad I found the truth, and I found out more than the truth with something they showed me by accident. So, I wish them well in their life, and I hope they're very, very happy in the future, But I just wanted to do this video, say, don't beat yourself up, because in the past, and what we can do is get into power of why have I attracted a bad guy again? Why have I attracted I don't want to say that word. Why have I attracted a person that's into dodgy stuff again? Why have I attracted this type of person again? And so, I don't think you need to beat yourself up. I think you need to know in life that there's going to be situations and people where there are going to be some liars. And it's just the way the world is. You're never ever going to come across people that are always honest, but obviously you want to be with those people that are honest. So the sooner you cut the people that are dishonest out of your life, the better. I mean, the thing with me is I always have this little tiny part of me that goes, oh, which I shouldn't do, is like, you kind of wish they weren't like that, and you kind of want the situation to be better than it is. And really, you shouldn't make the situation better it is, and you shouldn't make the situation better it is. You shouldn't make the situation worse than it is. You should just leave the situation. So you just be like, yeah, okay, I don't hate you. I wish you well. I did wish him well. I said, I wish you well, but I will not be with a liar. I'm not interested in anyone who lies. I wish you well, and I don't want you to message me ever again or speak to me ever again, basically. That's the end of it, But I still wish them well. I hope they turn their life around, But in order for a person to turn their life around, they have to know they've got a problem with what they're doing in the first place. And clearly I don't think they have, because even when I said in the final bit of the message before I wasn't going to speak to them again, I said, you've lied about this, you've lied about not liking sex, you've lied about not liking alcohol, you've lied about this particular, your age, you've just lied to me, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to sleep now. It's like, they don't even care. It's like, well, I'm not going to be seeing you again. I'm not going to be seeing you on Monday like we arranged. I'm not going to be seeing you ever, and I don't want you to contact me again. My mum won't leave me alone about me and my boyfriend. Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what she says. If you want to be with your boyfriend, you want to be with your boyfriend, you know? I mean, ask her what the actual problem is. I would. What is the problem? You know, you're old enough to have a boyfriend. What's the actual problem? That's what I would ask her and say, come on, then what's the actual problem? Because sometimes when people have problems, it's not the actual thing they've got a problem with, it's something else. She probably feels like she's going to lose you or something. That's probably what really underlying. But at the end of the day, I'll just sit down and have a chat with her and say, okay, well, what's going on, mum? You keep going on at me about my boyfriend. What is it you actually are hoping to achieve? What is it you want to do? Because I'm going to be with him. So what's the best outcome in the situation with me with him? Do you know what I mean? What is it that you want? Do you know what I mean? It's really important you ask those questions, I think. And so yeah, so if you are in a situation when you are being lied to, just leave the person. You know, there's loads and loads of other people in the world, and there's people that you will come across that will cheat and lie, and there's other people that won't. And you don't want someone who's gonna lie to you, because once they've lied once, they'll just lie again and again and again, sadly, and you won't know what the truth is. And you can't be in a relationship with someone like that. It's not healthy for you. And it's really important you trust your instincts, because I think as children, we're told, you know, like, oh, shut up, know our place, you know, don't think basically for yourself. You know, when you grow up in schools, it's all like, you know, the teacher knows best. And you're kind of like, in the very early years of your life, you're really molded and shaped into what other people want you to be. And I think your own instincts are kind of dampened down a lot, you know? Your own instincts are kind of like pushed to the wayside, and it's kind of like, you know, the adults, the teachers, the peers in your life, you know, the people that are older that you look up to. It's kind of like their world, isn't it? That they own it, and that you don't really have so much of a say in it, you know. And I think, you know, as a kid especially, I think kids are very intuitive. They are very intuitive. You know, I've had a situation where there's a neighbour I've got, right, and the window's closed at the moment, so I can say it, but I've got to be careful. But basically, I've got a neighbour, and the neighbour's not very good to their wife, right? Sometimes, not all the time. Lately, it's been quiet, but sometimes they're not very good. And you know, there was this girl who's a relative of theirs, and she was saying, she obviously said something to him, because he goes, "Oh, don't you like me? You know, you don't want to be cuddled by me, or you don't want to come and speak to me," or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And I thought, no, because she knows what you're like. You're a very narcissistic, abusive type of guy. And so therefore she doesn't want to be around you, you know? And I think that's what you've got to, you know, like when you're a kid, you really notice these type of things, because you're very tuned in to your senses, because you haven't got all this noise in the way, people telling you, oh, you can't be right, you've got to be wrong, you know, blah blah blah. And as you get older, people kind of dampen down your own intuition. I think they kind of dull your own sparkle, and I think that's not a good thing. And from my own point of view, you know, like, I know when I listen to my intuition, I'm always right, but I always like wished I wasn't. But I guess that's not a good thing. Excuse me. It's like, why do I not want to be right? Because if I'm not right in my intuition, that means I can't trust myself. Well, actually, it means I can 100, excuse me, percent trust myself. But I just have to trust myself as and actually believe what I'm saying is true, and just cut to the chase much quicker, I think. You know, I believe everything happens for a reason that comes into life, good or bad, and that you've got to learn some sort of lesson from it, you know? I mean, obviously the lesson is I could be with an older guy who looks younger, but also it's trusting my own instincts more, because in 2020, I'm going to have to trust my intuition instincts more than anything in the world. I really am, with my career particularly. I'm going to have to just follow through on what I totally believe is right. I can't live with my mum much longer. I'm almost 18, I will be in March, but I can't stay with any friends. And I don't know if I can stay in my boyfriend's house. I can't be on my own. I'm stuck. Um, I mean, I mean, I would recommend staying on your own, to be honest. I mean, but I mean, you're in a situation where you can't really financially look after yourself anyway at the moment on your own. Do you know what I mean? So you can't really be on your own anyway. But I would always recommend a period where people leave home and go and live on their own. I didn't do that. I should have done that, but I didn't do that. I went to I left college and then went straight to live with the boyfriend at the time, the day after. And actually, it was a bad thing for me to do. But I did it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you can financially support yourself anyway. Ray, a lady said today she really likes me, but she's scared of Tundra. She never seen a dog so big. Yeah, Ray, I can understand that Tundra might be intimidating. And at least she told you the truth. She probably wouldn't like the sharp objects either in your house. I don't know. You'd probably have to like ask her if she'd feel like stroking the dog if you introduce the dog gently to her. That's the only thing I can suggest. But some people are intimidated by big dogs like that. They don't like it. So, do you know what I mean? Even if she likes you, she's not going to be right for you unless she can get used to the dog. Andy, why would you want to be wrong? Your instinct is a superpower. I guess because I always want to believe the good in people. I guess I always like to see the good. I always want to believe in the good in people. I guess maybe the romantic side of me takes over too much, and I like the romantic notion of them more than the reality. Maybe I like your question, Andy. I don't want to be wrong. I want to be right, but I guess in my head I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong. So that's contradictory. I think it's something I really have to work on. I think that's part of my problem, is that I absolutely know categorically very, very quickly what a person is like, and I don't want to believe it. And I don't that means not believing myself, doesn't it? Which then means I have work to do on myself. My instinct is a superpower. I mean, it really is. It really is a superpower because I'm. It's because I have a lot of experience, because I've been in situations where I was bullied when I was a kid, and because I've been in situations where people were lying behind people's back and being dishonest. I'm very, very good at being able to recognize the exact same patterns and signs and feelings. It's not just about, it's about feelings. You can feel the same feeling or similar. I think it's something I really have to work on, Andy, because it's like I want myself to be wrong. Therefore, when I intuitively know that a person's bad for me, instead of like ending it, I want to be wrong about them. So it's kind of like I have to wait till I prove myself right before that's really messed up, isn't it? Really. But that's what I mean. Like, you have to in life realize that things about yourself in order to develop and grow yourself. And sometimes you don't realize things about yourself. Like, I think this is what's come to light from this particular incident, is that I want myself to be wrong. I want my instincts to be wrong. I think also it's because a lot of things used to come true that I used to think years ago, and they weren't good things. And so I kind of like wish they weren't. I was wrong about them, but I was always right usually, or maybe I wasn't completely right. I was off a little bit about them, but in a roundabout way, I was still right in the end. Do you know what I mean? And so I think that's something I really need to work on, because I want to be wrong. I want people who I think are bad and not good or doing dodgy stuff, I want them to change my mind, and I want them to be a good person. And I just wish they were, but they're not. And I don't know why I'm like that totally. I do think it's to do with my past, but I do think also as a kid I wasn't told to trust my instincts. I was made to feel that any decision I made was the wrong one. And so therefore I couldn't make a decision myself. And that's not been good growing up. It's not been good as an adult. I don't think that's good for anyone. But I think everyone in their life should take some time to reflect over their childhood and reflect how it affects them. Because I know that it's been harder as an adult to make decisions when I was taught years ago as a child that any decision I made was going to be the wrong one because it wasn't the one the person thought I should be doing. but in actual fact, it wasn't the wrong one. It was just a difference of opinion. Cake karate. Mentally, I can't, which in return means financially, I can't either. My brain doesn't function like everyone else's. I know you told me that, Kate. The problem is with I know you told me that before. Your brain doesn't function like everyone else's, but it's I don't know if there's any way you can retrain your brain. Do you know what I mean? Because we can retrain our brain through neuro linguistic programming (NLP). So even if you've got one certain type of brain, you can actually rewire your brain. There's other, that's where it was done, neuro linguistic programming. So you might want to look that up. I've retrained my brain in some aspects. I'm still obviously developing my brain now and changing it because I need to get this nipped in the bud as to why I'm like this. Why is it I instinctively know things? I think it's because no one else believes me as well. I think it's because when I have this intuition, it seems maybe I think to an outsider impossible what I'm saying or knowing, and therefore I disbelieve. I don't disbelieve myself. I kind of want to be wrong and everyone else to be right, but I'm always right. Ray, I would not mind, but she is 65. Well, if she's 65, Ray, she's too old for you, then that's fine. You know? She's 10 years older than you. But if she's 12 for you, she's too old. Sam, I can understand why you would in a way want to be wrong, in that you want a person to be better than they are. But like Andy said, your instinct is a special power, so it is good. So it is good. It is so good. Yeah, I do want to be wrong. I want to be wrong about them. I see even bad guys, I see their heart in some ways. I see it's really weird because when I was doing a video before, I said the only way this guy's going to get serious over a woman is someone can get to his squidgy like heart center. I think I said something like that on a previous video about him, and when he was on the video chat, it was very, very strange. A bit again, like echoing my own words instinctively, and he said, "Oh, I may come across as cool guy, but I have a really soft heart inside. This really warm, soft heart," and that might be true about him. That might have actually been true. It might have been a charming line. It might have been to charm me, or it might have been true. But I do believe that even a lot of the people that aren't that great have got this heart center that needs to be broken through in order to actually achieve love and happiness and joy and stop the lying. But people can love people and still lie to them. So that, love and not lying doesn't go together, unfortunately. People are, oh, if you love me, you wouldn't lie to me, which is all very well and good in theory, but a liar is a liar whether they love you or not. Just they lie. Ray, always trust your instincts. Yeah, definitely, Ray. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, it's important, But I think it's because I find my own intuition sometimes unbelievable from an outsider point of view, because that's the way it was years ago when I guess I'm still living in child mode sometimes, because it's like people could never see what I can see. It's like you live in a completely different world to everyone where you can just see things straight away, but it's actually honing in on your own perception. It's honing in on actual your skills of life. It's because I've got so much experience of relationships and friendships and not friendships and people betraying. Like it might sound horrible, but if I hadn't had all those experiences, then I wouldn't understand how people work with betrayal. But I had experiences where I was at school and I had this best friend, and then this other friend was being nasty to me behind her back. Yet to my face in front of her, she was fine. And so I know the conniving ways, the scheming ways, the bad ways. Do you know what I mean? My instincts don't fully fit in with mankind. Oh, hello, spiritual male. I like that type of name. That's nice. You look foreign. Right. Okay. I'm not going to go do NLP. I'm not the problem. Society's views are the problem. Really? That's interesting. I'm not changing for everyone else. You shouldn't change for everyone else. That's not what I'm suggesting you do. I'm suggesting you change for yourself, because being in a situation when you have to rely on other people and can't be by yourself is not good for you as a person. Because relying on other people for your own happiness, they can take it away in a heartbeat. Do you see what I mean? Something happened to your boyfriend, something happened to your mum, something happened to anyone that you love, they weren't there anymore. How would you cope? That's what I'm worried about you, not everyone else, not society. I'm caring about you. Do you see what I mean? So you shouldn't change for everyone else. You should change for you, and to put yourself in a better position than you currently are, so that you're able to cope and be on your own. And there are ways you can reprogram brains. I mean, people that have had injuries are never supposed to walk again. They retrain themselves some of the time. Do you know what I mean? The impossible. Hi, spiritual. There's good lies and bad lies. I don't do lies at all. All lies are not good. I will tell someone the truth, even if it hurts them. I will tell them the truth. Even if they don't like it, I will do that. You know? So I don't believe in the good lies and bad lies per se. You know, I wouldn't lie to someone. I just don't do it. But I know other people would maybe disagree with that, but I don't think any lies are good, because once you told one lie, that's it. How can they ever trust you? Do you know what I mean? One lie is a lie is a lie. So how can anyone ever trust you? Because you have to keep up the lie then and remember what lie you said in the first place. But I appreciate you sharing your point of view. John, salutations. Oh, hi. Hi, Spiritual Mind. Hi, John. Hi, Sam. I would always prefer the truth. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, I would always prefer the truth. You know, I would always prefer the truth. Even though if I don't want to hear it, I would always prefer the truth. Do you know what I mean? It's really important, whether it hurts me or not. Yeah, I think it's important, you know? I had to tell my best female friend the truth this year about the fact I didn't like being in an old environment. And that was really difficult because, you know, I loved her. I loved seeing her and I appreciated seeing her friends for who they are. But I didn't like the environment anymore. You know, I've never really been too keen on it. It was my fault I didn't speak up, but I felt I couldn't because I didn't want to lose her. But I had to in the end. So I didn't actually lie, but I didn't tell her, you know, how I was feeling. And this year I told her the truth, and that was hard, you know. And I did almost lose her, but I had to risk it in order of my truth. Right. If I had to live on the street, people would see one of the many sides of me that most don't say. Well, I'm hoping that you learn the life skills to be self-sufficient, so you don't end up on the streets. And that you have good fortune with your finances, so you don't ever end up on the streets, and that life treats you really well. I hope that you have a really good life, Kate. I really, really do. You know, I want you to be happy. I just want you to be self-sufficient for you. Do you know what I mean? I totally agree. You should not change for anyone, but you should always change. If you don't want to change anyway, it wouldn't stick. You have to want to change for yourself. Ray, I had to take some of Sandra's advice and change some things about me. Oh, thank you, Ray, for admitting that. That's really sweet. That's very big of you to say that. Earth is not your home. It may not be where you originally came from, but it's where we are at the moment. So we have to deal with what we've got given, don't we? Whether it's our home or not. If you're going on holiday and you're in a hotel, you still should treat the hotel with respect and not bash it all up, even though it's not your home. You should still be good to it in that environment. Do you know what I mean? And you still have to stay in the hotel in those conditions while you're in the hotel, if you know what I mean. So, do you know what I mean? I mean, quite a lot of asexuals feel like we don't belong here on planet Earth. You know that. Yeah, Sam facing the truth, it's always a good idea. Yeah, it is, Andy. I really think it's important to face the truth. You know, it can hurt you. One of the hardest things is looking in the mirror and telling yourself the truth, you know? Like, I mean, obviously, I've admitted on this live stream that I've obviously got a problem with the fact that I want my instincts to be wrong. So I obviously need to work on that. I want so badly my instincts to be wrong and my intuition. I think that's because bad stuff used to happen years ago when I used to think like that, and also I was taught to not kind of trust my own self. And so I keep, guess I keep going back to the looping pattern, but I need to work on that. It's issues I have that I have to work on. And that's what you do. Like when you're helping other people, like I try and help other people on this channel, but I'm constantly trying to help myself, The only change you can make is with yourself. You can't change society. You can't change other people. You can't change anyone but yourself. So if things are not going quite right in your life, you have to change yourself. Yeah, Sam, facing the truth is always a good idea. That's Andy. Sam, yep, always. Yeah, it is. It's hard though, because you don't want to make yourself wrong, because you have to face things. I wish I could go home. Home makes more sense to me. I can never go home again. I have a purpose here on this planet in society that doesn't function the way I'm able to comprehend. Well, if you can't change the things around you, you have to change the only thing you can, which is yourself, which is not an easy thing to do. I can't change other people. I can't change society. I can't really change the environment. There's things you can do to help these things, but you can't change anyone but yourself. So if something's wrong in your life, the only thing that you can change about life is yourself. I learned that the hard way. It's horrible when you first realise that. You're like, oh my God, everything's about me. I have to change myself. I have to keep changing myself. There's no two ways about it. I have to change myself next year. I have to keep changing myself because I can't change other people. I can't change society. I can't change the environment unless I move, which requires me changing. So if I want to change my environment, I have to put myself in a different environment. I have to move, or I have to go on holiday. If I want to change my environment permanently, I could swap some furniture around, I could redecorate, or I can move. Do you know what I mean? It's up to me to do that. You have to change your outlook on life. Exactly, Ray. Everything's to do with the person. Nothing's to do with anyone else but yourself. It's a very, very spiritual awakening when you have that moment and you realize that your reality is created by yourself. The only person that can change anything in life is you. If my brain changes, I change the things that are weaknesses on this planet. If my brain changes, I change. The things that are weaknesses on this planet give me strength as well on this planet. The things that are weaknesses on this planet give me strengths as well on this planet. Well, are they actual weaknesses, or are they things that other people have told you are weaknesses about yourself? So in one of my books, one of the questions I ask, I think it's my Breakthrough the Barriers of Redundancy book, actually, I first wrote this in. If you never know, I wrote a Breakthrough the Barriers of Redundancy to get back into work, an A-to-Z how-to guide book. That was the first book I ever wrote. Is non-fiction. 2.5 years it took me to write, and there's a lot of life skills in that, a lot of mind techniques, even that far ago in 2015 when I published it. And when we analyze our weaknesses and strengths, which we should always do, right? We should always sit down with pen and paper and analyze our weaknesses and our strengths, and there should be weaknesses and there should be strengths. And so what you have to do with the weaknesses and strengths is you have to decide if those weaknesses really are weaknesses, or if they just things that other people have called about you weaknesses. For example, when I was younger, in birth certificate age, some people didn't like me talking. They hated me talking. They didn't like me talking. They saw that as a weakness. A really, really bad weakness, right? But it wasn't a weakness. I didn't see it as a weakness. I saw I could use it to my advantage. So when I was 15 years old, in birth certificate age, I applied to do work experience at a radio station, which I did. And from that work experience in that radio station, I wanted to go into real radio, right? And that was my dream, to be a real radio presenter. I didn't get to actually do it professionally, but I did get to be a hospital radio presenter for years. And so when people were having a go at me about my voice, about talking all the time, talking too much, I decided to use that to my advantage. And obviously, if I wasn't able to talk a lot, I would not be able to do the show right now and help people. I mean, I've had I've had a lady in the chat for the last couple of days. I mean, well, she's been, sorry, not in the chat, in comments. She's been talking to me a lot. She's really happy. She's got, she's come on this channel, even though she's not asexual. She said it's helped her a lot already, talking to me to feel less alone. I've got a person on ASAP recently said, hey, are you the person who does that YouTube show? I said, yes, I do a YouTube show. Like, great, I'm subscribed to you. Your channel helped me so much when I was first finding out about asexuality. If I hadn't got the gift of being able to speak and talk a lot, I wouldn't be able to do this channel for like 1, 2, or however many hours I do. I couldn't hold a conversation. I couldn't do this. And most people can't ad lib. They can't just talk like this. It's not normal. You have to train yourself. I've had some speaker training. I went to London and I had some speaker training from Andy Harrington, a group training. It wasn't individual, but I learned a lot from that session. And I learned to be a good proficient speaker, you need to be able to be on stage, for example, for 45 minutes and not have any notes in front of you, not have a script. You need to be able to ad lib. And so I do all these, like, not all of them, sorry, the majority of them, exponential, I can't even pronounce that word. Exponentially, I think it is. So it's basically when you can talk without actually having a script in front of you, right? So when you are talking about weaknesses, you really need to analyze, are your weaknesses actual weaknesses, or are they actual strengths? But other people have dictated to you that that's a weakness of yours, right? Do you know what I mean? You have to really analyze that. And that's what I did years ago. I had weaknesses and strengths. I'm like, right, what do you really believe is a weakness about you, Sandra? Do you really believe talking's a weakness? I'm like, no, actually, I like me talking. I like me talking a lot. I like talking. I think it's an art form. And I know now that some of the, big top entrepreneurs and are speakers. Speaking is a gift. Most people can't even do it. Most people can't even put a video camera in their face or even do any YouTube live streaming without, being really shy, looking away from the camera, worrying about their words every 5 minutes a day, I don't worry about the lighting. The lighting isn't the best in my place. I will admit that. But I don't have the facilities to put tons of lighting up. I'm just very natural on this channel. And so, that's a gift to me. But I wasn't a gift. If I listened to other people in my life, it wasn't a gift. It was a weakness. Do you see what I mean? And then you have to analyze your strengths. And then of the weaknesses, you have to decide, are they, of the weaknesses, which can you live with as is? Because you can't change every weakness straight away anyway. So you have to live with them for the time being. And then which weaknesses do you want to actually change? Which are you going to work on first? And then you have to set little increments and goals for changing those weaknesses. And the ones that you can't change or can't change that in that moment, you have to learn to live with and accept about yourself. And then the strengths, you have to work out what are your actual strengths. But something can be strength and weakness. It can be both. You can have strength and weakness in both, right? So, when I'm talking a lot, I can be talking to customers a lot. I can talk to, in my old employee jobs, I can talk to 3 sets of customers at once. Because I've got the ability to talk loudly and to talk a lot to a group of people. So sometimes I've managed to manage 3 sets of customers and say the same thing where all of them can hear me at the same time. That's like managing 3 groups of people at once. It takes a lot of skill to do that. That you could argue the downfall is that other people on other departments can hear me and that might annoy them. Do you see what I mean? They might see that as a weakness, not as a strength. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, some people might see talking a lot because I can engage in conversation with customers, build rapport with them, talk a lot, have discussions a lot with them. Other might see like you talk too much, you're not listening enough or something like that, So you've just got to bear in mind about, what's one weakness can also be a strength, and you can have them both being simultaneously a weakness and a strength, depending on how other people look at it in the situation. I'll go back to what Kate said first. If my brain changes, I change the things that are weaknesses on this planet. It gives me strength as well on this planet. To change that changes my purpose and course in life. I say weaknesses on this planet because of how society operates here, but on my home world, there's strengths. But it doesn't matter how society operates. You've got your own world. I don't care how society operates. I work my own world of quirky. They can get on with it. Or, well, normal on my planet. my strengths here are strengths as at home as well. It's good, Kate, that you've got strengths both here and home. I'm making a book series based on my planet, hoping people take it to heart. That's good. Sam, over the last couple of years, I have massively changed and adapted who I am. I have always remained true to my principles and morals, but there are ways to adapt without fundamentally changing yourself. Yes, it's really important. I understand myself much better through doing so, and if I hadn't have taken the initial chance I took, I wouldn't be where I am now. That's really positive, Sam. I'm really proud of you because I know you and Andy, who I've known for a very long time now, my best friends. I know you both changed a humongous amount for the better for yourselves as well. It's really important. Kate, I do as much as I can, but I have limits. I won't be able to fully function like everyone else no matter what I do. Well, whatever we believe is what it is. So if you believe that, then it is true. Like Tony Robbins is a famous. Oh, hi Clarissa, nice to see you. Tony Robbins is a famous entrepreneur. He says, when you think you can or you can't, you are right, because it's all to do with the power of the mind. So if you think you can do something, you believe you can do it, even if it seems impossible, you can likely do it. But if you believe you can't, then you can't. So it's the power of the mind's really powerful. Like there's certain things that I'm frightened of. I have certain fears. Whenever I'm fearful of them, I can't do them because I'm too afraid to do them. Does that make sense? But if I had a no fear attitude, then I could do them because I don't fear them in my mind because I believe I can do them. Do you see what I mean? I was just thinking about this topic before you came on. Oh, thank you. What, the topic I'm talking about now, the topic of my original video thing. But yeah, it's because I talked in this video, it was originally about don't beat yourself up if someone lies to you, because basically it's not your fault, but do wish them well in their life. So yeah, it's really important that the brain and body correlation's really similar, and so is the mind. Like if you believe you can't do something, like I do have fears, so there's certain things I don't do because I'm fearful of them. I'm too afraid to do them. And by being, like only the way I could change it only is if I could put my mind in a state of having less fear than the thing itself. So the pain pleasure correlation. So when the pain is higher than the pleasure, you won't do something. When the pleasure is higher than the pain, you will do something. So for example, I use this example in my fibromyalgia self-help handbook, which if you haven't got yet is down in the links below. Fibromyalgia self-help handbook isn't just about fibromyalgia. It's about the way you use more mind and the power of your mind to overcome depression, to decrease your anxiety. So one of the examples I use for my own life is when I went to Disneyland Paris in 2017 for my 21st mindset birthday. I was very anxious, right? I have anxiety. And I manage it well, but I still have it, and sometimes it goes woo and gets really, really sky high. And so in 2017, I was at the beginning of the year, my dad gave me the money. It's a very, very special birthday that year. My dad gave me money to have this treat. So I had a 21st mindset birthday. And the beginning of the year, back in January, I booked the Disneyland because he gave me the money so I could book it up. So I got 4 nights for the price of 2 because it was on a special deal, 25th anniversary. And what happened with that scenario is when I was saying that the pain has got to, if the pain's higher than the pleasure factor, you won't do something. If the pleasure's higher than the pain factor, you will. So in this particular instance, when I was due to go to Disneyland Paris, obviously it was booked up in the January, the deposit and everything's paid. I think it was half the money paid in January. And then when April came around to my birthday to me actually going, they had been terrorist attacks in Paris, and the new French president was being elected, and it was a case of they were really worried because there was going to be more terrorist attacks. The people that didn't agree with this new French president being elected, and it was on the exact same day that I was traveling to Disneyland Paris, and I had to stop in, was it Lyon? I had to stop off. Like last time I went to Disneyland Paris, my cousin in 2014, there was no stops, right, straight through to Disneyland Paris. This one I had to wait at a train station, right? And so I thought in my mind that the pleasure I would get at the end of the day of being in Disneyland Paris, that I felt immense pleasure in 2014. I felt once, that pleasure that I felt back then was so much greater than the pain I was feeling of the anxiety that I could go through with it. Because I was just so looking forward to Disneyland Paris. I so loved it. I so wanted to go back there. It's part of my soul, my being. I'm so alive and energized when I'm there. And I just think that's all I kept focusing on. Keep focusing on the pleasure. Keep focusing on the pleasure. And also, although it was a bad situation to be in, and that their security was on the super highest ever alert because, they were worried that there was going to be more terrorist attacks, really bad ones, possibly of the French president or similar, because he was being elected that day. The security was on the super highest ever alert. So when we stopped off at this train station, there was like 4 security guards, great big like machine guns. There was like, but the beauty of being on the highest ever security alert meant that although they were on the highest ever alert because obviously of the terrorist attacks, which were bad, they were actually having the highest security possible because the situation was that bad. So actually it was good that you were less likely to be harmed because there was more security around than the rest of the time. So when I put that thought in my mind of the positives about the situation, of the pleasure I was going to get, that was higher for me than the pain. So the positive was higher than the negative. So therefore, I went through with it and had the best time of my life. And this is how the fear factor correlates. When you fear something more than the pleasure it's going to give you, then you won't do it. You have to have more positive thoughts about it, more pleasure factor to be able to do it. And that's only when we change. We will not change as human beings until we experience real pain. And therefore, that's why we have to have sad, bad, painful experiences in our life, because if we don't, we won't change. So although bad, painful, horrible experiences are really nasty and we don't really want them, if we didn't have them, it wouldn't prompt us to change and we would just stay the same, not develop and grow as people. Kate, I can only mimic society. I cannot fully be like society. I only put up a mask as such. I can learn how to not to do a lot of things as long as it's a routine. Clarissa, you are right. The mind is very powerful. What you think it shall be. Heather, mind over matter is totally true. Kate, the mind is the most powerful weapon in all of the universe. Clarissa, laugh out. I'm a very odd lady myself. Kate, your soul is your mind and it affects the mind in the body you're in. Be right back. Yes, correct. Yeah, so it's really important that you understand this. It wasn't until I understood the mind and body correlation that I was able to change my life, especially in terms of fibromyalgia. Like, if you didn't know what fibromyalgia is, it's a chronic pain condition that affects the nerves and muscles of the body. Some people are on crutches with it, other people are in a wheelchair with it, and the mind is very powerful, the body, and a lot of people that have got chronic pain conditions, they keep telling themselves, I'm really poorly today, I'm feeling really sick, I'm feeling really tired, I'm feeling really ill. And it's easy to get into this frame of mind. Like, sometimes when we're sick as human beings, like just from flu and stuff, we might say, I feel really horrible right now, really bad. And what do you feel again? If you focus on it, you feel more bad. You feel really, really ill, really, really sick. So actually, when you're feeling so sick, the best thing to do is either say, I feel really sick, and enjoy the rest, because maybe you're subconsciously wanting a rest. So you'll keep saying to yourself, I feel so bad, I feel so ill. And then you need a rest, right? So sometimes it's not always a bad thing if your subconscious and your body really needs a rest. So you can say to yourself, you're really, really ill, which will put you in, I've got a rest mode because I feel so sick. Do you see what I mean? But if you want to get better very, very quickly, then you need to switch your mind around and say, right, I'm feeling much better now. I'm starting to get better. I'm starting to feel good about myself again. I'm starting to get much better. Thank you very much. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to realize that sometimes you are working in your own favor by kind of telling yourself some negative stuff if it's to achieve a more positive result at the end. Like I said, when you're really, really sick, sometimes your body just really, really, really needs a rest, right? And if you want to just get better just like that, then your body won't have the time that it needs to rest. And you could keep going and going and going, but sometimes subconsciously we need a rest. Like me, I learned this year that my health has to come before anything else, because I was very sick. As you know, I was off this channel for 2 weeks. I had a respiratory infection. I couldn't talk. Sometimes my voice sometimes even starts going now. So I've got to be very, very careful. And I realized that unless I start putting my health first, that my low blood pressure, which I do get from subconscious stress, is going to start firing off again. I'm going to get dizzy, I'm going to get ill, and then I'm not going to be able to do the productive work I need to do. So I have an affirmation on my door, which is, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am happy, and I am productive. But that is actually in the wrong order. I learned while I was sick and ill that the correct order should be that I am healthy should come first, then I'm happy because I'm healthy, then I'm productive, then I'm wealthy, because when I'm happy, I'm more productive, and then I become more wealthy, you see? So that is actually the correct order that it should be in, not the order I specifically wrote it out in. And so, there's a lot of people that say, keep going, and you can do that, but maybe that just doesn't work for everyone. And I have a very big inner child, right? I have this very, very, very inner child character within my personality, within my being, right? And if I don't nourish that little inner child constantly, she plays up no end, right? It's like, I want to go to cinema now. I want to chill out and watch a movie now. And so I have to let her have her playtime in order for the adult part of me to be able to continue doing my work that I do. If I don't nourish my inner child, then I do get sick, because it's like, I need some time off now, right? And sometimes people can keep going and keep going. There are situations where you can. I'm very good at working under pressure. Sometimes I work better under pressure than any single time, when my back's like against the wall. It's just how it goes, and other times I'm not so good with too much stress and stuff going on. So, you've got to use your own judgment at the time. Right, Heather, some people have MS and arthritis when they are young. Yes, Heather. Some people have multiple sclerosis, arthritis when they're young. Yeah, they do. A lot of the time, pain conditions are brought on by situations of abuse and stuff. Well, fibromyalgia is brought on by trauma and abuse, that type of thing. That's what creates it. Although they have never categorically said this is why people have fibromyalgia. In my book, I talk about this. It's to do with trauma. And I personally believe that it's to do with the body going to fight or flight mode, and it's in prolonged state of fight or flight mode, which releases high levels of cortisol, which are all right in small doses, but not if you're prolonging the exposure to them, basically, which I think is why you get the problems you do with fibro. But I live a very different life to a lot of people with fibro, because I the foods I eat and don't eat, because of the lifestyle, but because of the mindset I have. I block out a lot of the pain with my power of my mind. It's a skill to do that. I don't take no notice of it. So although I've got the condition, I take no notice of it, because what we focus on expands. So if I focused on it and took notice of it, I would get more ill and more pain in my body. So I don't focus on it. I don't think about it. I just ignore it. I have to do certain things. So like today I went and bought some trainer socks, because if I don't get these specific trainer socks, my feet swell. So I will do things to consciously act out myself, but then I've got them now, forget about it, although I want to dye them black, so I can do white now. Right, Sam. Yes, Heather, my mum got multiple sclerosis when she was young, as did her uncle. Clarissa, I like your room and setup. It looks comfy. Oh, thank you, Clarissa. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is my Disneyland Paris robe, which I literally got from Disneyland Paris when I was there. That's Santa. That's actually a hand warmer, and that's my Mickey Mouse, which is a cuddly toy and a pillow at once. And then I've got pictures on the wall and things. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. It's all like Eeyore stuff, and so that's why I live like a teenager. It really, really helps with fibro and your mindset. You should always live the age you want to be, never the age that society dictates to you either. It's really annoying when people do that. They say, oh, I'm this age now, I'm too old for this, I'm too old for that. It's like, no, you're not. Very old as you want to be, or care to be, or think you are. Do you know what I mean? That's the secret to youth. It's not Botox. It's not plastic surgery. It's actually changing your mindset, right? You can be far more younger than you are by the clothes you wear, the lifestyle you lead, the mindset you have, the music you listen to. You just have to put yourself in the position of that age group that you want to be, to truly rewire your brain to become that way. You know, that's what you have to do if you want to change yourself to become a different person, or to model a different person. Like if you like a specific person, obviously you could say, I'll start saying, well, I'm not being true to myself, but you're gonna have to change yourself in life, right? So we all kind of like have to decide what type of person we want to come, and you can literally model yourself. You can literally consciously decide, I want to be like this type of person, or I want to be like that type of person. Because you could dress like an old woman if you're, you know, that was like 20 or 30 years older than you, or you can dress as a young girl that's 20 or 30 years younger. Do you see what I mean? You can play young music that's like you know, you can play music that's like of the 90s, or you know, the year 2000 onwards, right? Which, you know, or you can start playing the 60s and 70s music. Do you see what I mean? You just change your mindset, you know, which means change your lifestyle, what you listen to, what you wear, what you think, what you do. So you don't have to go through Botox or plastic surgery to be young. It's all about your mind. And when your mind's younger, you physically start looking younger. Um, da, 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 da. Oh, Heather, true Sam, not a very nice. Be thankful for what you have. Yeah, it's really important. Really, really important. Clarissa, we all have our times when we need to have a rest. Yeah. Well, you see, my mind was bad, Clarissa, because I'm very consciously aware of myself, but sometimes I don't like to acknowledge my consciousness, sometimes my subconsciousness. And I was thinking I can't rest. I can't rest until I've done all this stuff, or I'm not in this world anymore, which is not a very good thing to think. It's negative thinking, right? So I hold my hands up to say I haven't have negative thoughts sometimes. That's a negative thought. So that's why I had the respiratory infection that taught me that I need to rest and that I need to put my health first, because if I don't, and I start getting dizzy and ill, then it's going to do me no good. And plus, I'm focusing on one thing at a time at the moment. So I've got like 7 things I need to finish. Instead of like doing them all at once, like I usually do, I'm focusing on getting one thing done at a time, finishing it, get this thing done, finishing it, because I've got things that aren't finished. I need to get finished. So because I know what I'm doing now, and I don't need to do, excuse me, anything else, I don't need to add any more business stuff, because I'm doing other stuff besides this channel next year. Then, you know, I need to I've been honing down on everything else to do. Obviously, asexuality is my passion. This channel's my passion. I just want this channel to grow and grow and go. You know, even if there's other people that are not asexual watching it, like Heather's not asexual, but she's always supporting this channel. Do you know what I mean? I've got more people that come in on this channel now that are not asexual, but it's good because I can still help with your journey, right, in life. Spiritual male retracted their message. I don't know what you said, spiritual male, but bless you. Clarissa, every moment I strive to be more and more myself. I'm a non-conformist by nature. That's great, Clarissa. I'm a non-conformist too. I'm an individualist, non-conformist, and untraditional person. Sam, I'm always going to be young. Yeah, Sam is young. Sam looks really young as well. Sam looks really young. And that's the secret. When you choose to be young, you are younger. You can choose whatever age you want to be. You can choose to be young. Seriously, you can choose whatever you want in life. People don't tell you this stuff. Kate, my soul is very old. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Sam, I have never been a conformist, nor would I want to be. Exactly. Clarissa, it's so freeing to be who I am. Be a chameleon, laugh out loud. Super cool. Wow. I have a theory about chameleons that's not quite good. Okay, so I agree with you. It's good. It's so freeing to be who I am. But in terms of chameleon, the reason I say being a chameleon is not a good thing is because I was going back to the beginning of this video, what the title was about. Don't beat yourself up, do this. And what it was, it's about a guy I was interested in having, you know, was interested in a relationship with me. And I was meant to be going on a date with him, but he turned out to be a liar. So it was like, don't beat yourself up for the fact that the other person's lying, because it's not your fault, right? But also feel sorry for them that they can't be their true authentic self, so can never have the real love that they probably deep down crave and want to have and approval, right? Because they're not being true to who they really are. They're lying, and they're doing more lies and more lies. And some people who say they're chameleon means they change to their environment, which means that, again, they're not being true to who they are. Like, I come off this channel, I am still the same person on this channel as I am off this channel. I don't actually change. So if people see me as an asexual meetup, for example, that I organise, I'm actually still the same person. Now, if you mean a chameleon as in the sense of you can be flexible, you can be changeable, you can be adaptable, that's kind of different. Yes, it's good to be able to be adaptable in life. It's good to be able to be flexible and to instigate change within yourself whenever you want to do that. But so it depends which way you actually mean that. Spiritual male, I'm celibate. Oh, hi, spiritual male. Lovely to have you here. Beautiful. It's nice. Thank you for sharing that you're celibate. That's great. Your picture's nice. Kate, I'm a lot like Twilight from My Little Pony. Oh, I used to like Applejack from My Little Pony. I can't remember what Twilight is, or if Twilight was around then, but I had an Applejack, My Little Pony, with a slight personality mix of the rest of the main six. Oh, Clarissa meant chameleon because they're colourful. Yeah, because they're colourful, I think. Oh, I was right. Oh, really? That's interesting, because a butterfly's colourful as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's interesting. At least you knew what she meant, though, because I didn't pick that up about the chameleon being colourful. I picked it up that they're changeable and they change their environment, don't they? That's what a chameleon does. They change their environment, whereas does a butterfly maybe blend in as well? But a chameleon changes their environment. So I've met people. I've met people that do change like a chameleon, like, and they wonder why their ex-partner never understood them. Like, sometimes there's been partners and they're like, oh, I never understood. I was in a relationship with him for such a long time, but then I never understood him because he was completely different with her and that type of thing. That's when a guy, for example, changes like a chameleon, meaning he's not really being his true authentic self. He's changing to whoever's around him. And I've had people come to my asexual meetups that actively do this. They will change to whatever relationship they're in. Their behavior, they will change and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good you're right, Kate. I'm a werewolf dragon hybrid. That's interesting. Which parts the bum and which parts of the face? Is it dragon bum with a werewolf face with fire breathing out of it? I like How to Train Your Dragon. They are so cute. You know, the film How to Train Your Dragon. I love that series. Both are loyal, loving, and care for family and friends. Oh, Clarissa, I'm a fairy. You're a fairy. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, that's really sweet. Well, I have a guinea pig called Angel. So, Kate, my instinct is to care for others. That's really good. It's a good instinct to have. What am I? Oh, another otherkin. I'm excited. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, I think it's good to be who you want to be in life, and you can change to whoever you want to be, you know? Some people might not like it either. Especially when you're spiritually awakened, like when you're conscious in thought, a lot of people won't like you being that way because they won't be used to it. And, I think in general, asexuals, and obviously the people that are in this chat, we think outside the box, we can see things that other people can't see anyway. And that can be a gift, but it can also be very difficult when the world kind of like can't see your point of view and they think you're crazy. But the crazy ones are the ones that do change the world. Or so the quote goes. The crazy ones who think they can change the world, the ones that really do, is a famous quote. My species does that. Your species does what, Kate? I can't remember. We've talked about so much in this chat. But yeah, I'm going to come to the end of this chat, I think, now. Anyway, but I just wanted to conclude the video how I started off by saying, if you do end up having someone who comes into your life who is not any good for you, don't beat yourself up about it because it's not your fault. Don't see it as a reflection on you, because in the past I did do that. I thought I must be such a bad person to get these type of people come, but no, because wherever there's light, there's dark. Where there's dark, there's light. So there's always going to be good and bad people in the world. And we just got to try and learn or take any experiences we can from it. That includes myself. I have to learn everything I talk about on this channel. It's a learning curve for me, not just for you guys. But always choose your life, choose yourself, and trust your instincts. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, really trust your instincts. If you like this video, by the way, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for being on this channel. I want to give a lot of love to everyone before they go. I want to send my love to Clarissa. Thank you very much for coming on this channel, Clarissa. And there's Spiritual Male. So much love to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Ray. And thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. I really appreciate you. We've had a lovely discussion. It's been amazing. Lots of love to you, light, and just be amazing, you always, right? And like I said, thank you for the thumbs up to whoever's given me a thumbs up already. 4 kisses to you. And don't forget to share this channel with anyone you think may benefit from it. I do a lot of personal development, personal growth videos, as well as videos about asexuality and being asexual. I share my own asexual life journey all to help you and yours. And oh yes, John, sorry, I forgot to say thank you so much for being here. I do apologise. It's because the live chat's gone up and I forgot your name. I do apologise. Have to go. Hope to be back tomorrow. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I try to live stream between 11, start about 11, 10 past 11 sometimes, up to 12 or beyond. So it's been lovely. Thank you, John, for tuning in as well. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, by the way, and hit the bell icon. So if you hit that bell icon, you'll get notified straight away when I go live, so you won't have to wait and worry is she on or not on. So make sure the bell icon is hit after you subscribed. Sam, good night, or lovely to hear everyone's insights. Great stream, Sandra. Thank you. Heather, I love angels. Smile the other day. Oh, thank you. Yes, my guinea pig's called Angel. And Heather says, I love Angel. Smile the other day. Yeah, Angel's very beautiful. She's my guinea pig. If you missed the Christmas Day special recorded video with me and Angel, go and check it out, because there is a special miracle about Angel, which apparently defies what the vets know about can happen. So go and watch the video if you haven't already. Miracles can happen. She is living proof that they can, and the things can change even if they don't think they can. She defies the laws of science and logic and veterinary practice. But there you go. She's my guinea pig furry kid, and I love her to bits. But yeah, take care. Lots of love to all of you. Until next time, brace your quaggy and each other. Thank you so much for showing up tonight and being here. I really appreciate every single one of you. Lots of love, sending you lots of love and light, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, Andy, amazing Angel. She has superpowers. Yeah, Angel has superpowers. She must get them from me. Or I get them from her, one or the other. Anyway, until next time, see you soon. Embrace your quaggy and each other's. Bye, lots of love. Bye, Sam. Bye, everyone.